Good afternoon. For my part, I will be discussing with you the learning through writing and interactive teaching, PPP, and the modes of teaching grammar. Next slide. For learning through writing, can provide a unique opportunity to develop critical thinking skills. Students explore language through creative writing, picking up grammar usage along the way, and if there are specific problems with certain grammatical rules, it will be covered in a more structured lesson. In these methods of learning, it helps the students to express their ideas, thoughts, and even skills. This is where they develop their critical thinking skills in a way of writing stories, poems, and etc. That could help to widen their knowledge in certain skills. And of course, through writing this, it could help us develop our communication skills, such like writing a letter to a friend or a colleague. Next slide, please. In learning through writing, there are two specific goals which could help to improve our writing skills. This is with addition of informal writing and formal writing. For informal writing, it consists of short sentences that is used more likely in personal settings. When we say informal writing, it talks about writing short sentences that are used for personal things, like for example, a friendly letter, diary, or even a daily note. Usually, the audience of this writing are the people you personally know, like your friends, families, or colleagues. For formal writing, it means it is typically for the word itself formal, it is written in a formal way. This is written typically for audience that you don't know on a personal level. When we say formal writing, this includes journal, research papers, thesis, letter to a client, essay, job applications, and etc. This typically done through writing to an audience that you don't personally know, like for example, president, professor, or somebody who has high profession. Next slide. I'm okay. Next slide. For the second goal, which is to improve learning through creative and effective writing assignments. This typically happens between teacher and students interaction. For instance, the teacher gives exercises to students to write an essay, short stories, or a poem in which it could lead the students to practice their grammar and also to integrate their prior knowledge with a new concept. And for the next topic, we have interactive teaching. This type of teaching is encouraged for all teachers to be used to improve the students' learning interest for them to actively engage and participate in a lesson and help them to remember what they've learned. And below you can see the five examples of interactive teaching styles, which are brainstorming first. This means that it's typically performed in a group sessions. The process is useful for integrating creative thoughts and ideas. Excuse me. Um, this type of style was very effective to and helpful for students because this is one of the ways that helps them remember what they have learned during and after the class, and to be able to share and teach others as well. For the second style, we have think, pair, and share. It's a collaborative learning strategy in which students work together to solve a problem or answer a question about unassigned reading. This type of strategy is fun since it's allowed the students to mingle with others and do group work activities. This strategy also helps to give them opportunity to become confident in sharing their thoughts. Aside from this, it also helps improve the students' speaking and listening skills. Next slide, please. For our third stat, uh, main, third style, we have the buzz session, which is it participants come together in a session, groups that focus on a single topic. Within each group, every student contributes thoughts and ideas. So in this type of style, it focuses on learning how to solve real problems that involves real people, or situations or scenarios. Its purpose is to prepare students for life outside the classroom. For our fourth style, we have incident process. This teaching style involves a case study format, but the process is not so rigid as a full case study, full case study training session. Um, for this type of style, it's more focused on asking question either it came from teacher or students. As you notice, in the five styles, they use is more likely the same strategy. And yes, they are, because that's how interactive teaching works. Sharing, asking, expressing, analyzing, comprehending, learning, and talking. For the last style, we have the teachers and students interaction. Next slide, please. For PPP, which stands for Presentation, Practice, and Production. PPP is a deductive approach, often fits into a lesson structure known as PPP. The teacher presents the target language and then gives students the opportunity to practice through very controlled activities. Presentation involves building a situation that requires a natural and logical use of a new language. Practice involves testing the procedure so students can be familiar with the language. For presentation, this stage is where the teacher do the lots of talking. Where in this stage, the teacher will be introducing or presenting the information. Usually, teachers on this stage focuses on correcting the students at this stage. For the second P, which is the practice stage, this stage teachers uses activities to practice and gives the students opportunities to correct their mistakes or get corrected by the teachers. Some example of common controlled activities are oral recitations, target at individual students, or worksheets activities. For the last P, we have the production. On this final stage, students have mastered or when they already build their confidence of using a certain grammar right until they master in using it. To sum it up, this PPP approach of teaching grammar is more likely like doing a demonstration in the class. When the teacher starts in introducing the topic, she will be giving the students the ideas, informations, and thoughts through explaining them or showing them examples or illustrations to easily understand. That's how presentations take. Right after the demonstration, the teacher will now attest the understanding of the students through giving them activities to practice, giving them opportunities to work and or find out which part of the topic did they understand and which part was not. And that's when the teachers enter to correct them. For the last P, which is the production stage, right after the correcting process, that's where the students acts out their understanding. which are sometimes through performing role plays or even producing ideas or language confidently because they already learned. For next slide, please. For the last topic, we have the modes of teaching grammar. For the first mode, we have the linguistic mode. Students must be familiar about the use of structures so that they will understand. Since this mode refers to written and spoken words, it is familiar for students to understand the use of structures. For the second mode, storytelling mode, which is a grammar lesson, is not complete without an application stage. This typically used to provide a realistic context for presenting grammar points and to get the students' attention and interest in learning through the use of showing illustrations, images, and any other useful materials. This type of strategy is an effective way to apply what the students learn to real communication. And that's it for my part. Thank you, and I hope you understand something from me.